Welcome back, boys. Awesome to be back for a second Talanoa session. What a weekend has been, eh? Saki, how are you?
Oh, I'm great. I'm great. Looking forward to this week. Looking forward to this week. Hell of a week. Hell of a week.
What are you doing?
He's ripping up his contract.
I've got so much to talk about.
Oh, so much. Sorry.
Wow, we can't wait. We can't wait. But firstly, to our listeners, thank you for coming back. And we try and improve every podcast. So thank you for your feedback and comments. Please keep them coming. So if you're joining us for the first time, we're a bunch of island lads passionate about rugby, particularly on the Pacific nations. Discuss about everything in rugby, World Cup, the Pacific nations, chances in this World Cup. Of those joining the first time, we have Special K, our resident Tongan warrior from Tonga, and our analytic expert Sake from the island paradise of Fiji. And my name is Ovini, and I'm also from the island paradise of Fiji. All right, boys, I think we should get straight into it, eh?
Yeah, let's get into it. Yeah.
Okay.
Just a disclaimer, though. Just a disclaimer that, please don't take our pick seriously. Please don't go bet money on it. Because if you do lose, it's not our fault. Just reminder, no gambling. And if you do pick our picks, I'll just blame it on Ovini.
No, not me. Talk to Crocodile Dante up the top. Okay. Let's start off. Let's talk about Fiji. Let's not talk about anything else. Let's go straight to Fiji versus Wales. Right. I really need to know your input on this. Gentlemen, where do we start?
A game for the ages. Magnificent.
Yeah.
Oh, scintillating. Oh, it was heart pounding, heartbreaking. And I feel like that's the reason why I've got a bit of sickness, a bit of cold right now, because I think I've reacted to it differently. This whole week I've been coughing and sneezing. So excuse me if my voice sounds different. I'm reacting differently to the Fiji Wales game.
Okay, out of the games, what are some of the positives you can pick up from the game? Positives. Let's focus on the positive. I know there's a lot to discuss about the referee and maybe some of the calls that were made. Let's not go on that. Maybe we'll just pick on some of the positives of
Don't talk about the elephant in the room. Don't say it. Right? Because we're going to get there.
Okay. All right.
Any positives? I'll go first.
Yes.
Let me talk about fitness.
Right.
Fitness. They can play an 80 minutes game. 80 minutes game. And they can come back. Till the very last minute, Fiji was still running rugby till the very last minute. Positive for me. How about you, Special K? Did you watch the game?
I'm not going to say anything now. I'm going to leave to Sake there to talk about the positives.
After this, we're going to go.
I'm going straight to the negatives.
Yes, me too. I'm just going to talk about the negatives. But
there's got to be some positive.
But I do have some positives as well. All right, shall we get into it, eh? So let's go. 80-minute performance, like Ovini said. So glad to see that the forwards, especially the forwards just brought it home for us, I felt. And especially the bench coming on. We know that our bench actually works, you know. You've got Tuisova and Botia coming on. And it's so good to see that our backline is functioning as best as we can, despite lacking our number 10. But I just thought it was great to see the crowd into it. I thought it was great. The whole French crowd was cheering for Fiji. The Welsh crowd was drowned out. It was a spectacle. It was a spectacle. Most exciting game of the tournament thus far, I think.
So far,
better than the All Blacks French game. And if Fiji had come back, it would have been the comeback of the ages. But it didn't. But it wasn't so.
Okay, let's
should they have been in the position to come back, or should they have stayed the course, stayed the momentum, and finish it off? Right?
Yes, yeah. I'm trying to be positive here, Special K. So I think that Fiji showed what they're capable of doing to Wales and to other Tier 1 nations. I think everybody's been put on notice, and I think that if Fiji continue this way, I think they have a possibility of making it into the quarters. That's just my exactly
981 meters run.
Yep.
Yes.
So Saki, I know you love stats, so we'll bring some stats up for the Fiji team. Okay. So let's look at this one here. How about the stats for Fiji and Wales? So, as you know, the overall score, Wales 32, Fiji 26. Now let's look at possession, territory, penalties, attack, set piece, and kicking meters. Saki, do you want to elaborate a little bit on this?
Oh, yeah, I sure do. So, as you can see, we were managed to carry, our carried meters was almost double what the Welsh did. Our runs, in fact, our attack shows that we were better, right? Our kicking, however, wasn't as great from them compared to them. Our set pieces were somewhat similar. Our discipline was great. It was better. And they made more tackles than us, obviously. But their success rate was about 86%, and our success rate was about 67% in our defense. So, yes, we were better at our meters gained, and yes, we owned territory and we owned possession, right? But unfortunately, Wales were just a lot more efficient, and they took their chances, whilst Fiji weren't as efficient. Now, caveat: there is that elephant in the room, like standing right there, which is the referee. But I'll get to that when we'll get to that when we get there with some other stats I'd like to pick up compared to other games.
Why were they not able to convert points? Looking at the running meters, 900, almost 1,000, compared to Wales, who had 400 running meters on attack. Is that something to do with the kicking game that Wales had?
What do you reckon, Special K?
Or do you think Fiji was not clinical enough, as Raul said in his interview? Not clinical enough to get points?
Well, we'll put it this way. Let's just put it this way, right? Kicks from hand, Wales had 24 to 27. 24 to our 17, right? Kicking meters from kicks, right? 674 meters kicked by Wales, 387 kicked by Fiji, right?
And I think that's one of the key stats.
Yeah, total kicks, 24 by Wales, 17 by Fiji. So the lack of meters gained from Wales, right? They made it up in kicks.
Yeah.
All right? That's what I'm talking about.
Tactical kicking.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Efficiency, right? They waited till they got down into the 22 to score their points, right? And they were very efficient. Fiji went down to their 22, made mistakes, held up, give penalties away, all that stuff. But Wales, when they got into Fiji's 22, boy, oh boy, did they make it count. And that's what it's all about.
Can I go back to our last episode?
Right.
About the X factor, which is months.
Yes.
I think that's the other elephant in the room that we have to discuss. Because I think if Munts was there, game management, experience, and so forth, Fiji would have won this considerably.
Right.
There's another elephant in the room. There's 2 elephants in the room now. There could be 5 at the end.
Man, we've got a lot of elephants coming up, man.
So what are your thoughts? What are some of the improvements we need to see as Fiji prepares itself to take on the mighty Wallabies next week, Monday?
All right.
What are some of the improvements we would like to see?
Yeah, so I haven't finished with the negatives. Because the handling was atrocious from Fiji. With all those meters gained and with all those passes thrown about, right? That's what kicking does, right? Kicking negates all of that. Especially during a pressure cooker game like this. And so be it. Fiji decided to play that way. And because they did, there was always going to be some passes that would go away, not to plan. Like, for example, that pass from Tetitala to one of the forwards to set up a pod, it actually went behind him. And what do you know? The other level catches it, right? That bouncing ball, beware the bouncing ball. And he breaks the tackles and scores a try. Initially, it was a bad pass, but they're still able to score off that. Okay, so there was a lot of that happening. Unfortunately, we just weren't able to capitalize. Unfortunately, we just, like Ryan Lewis said, we were just not clinical enough in taking out. And of course, that last pass, we all know that heartbreaking pass from Tusova to Rajandra. And I'm coming back to the point that Special K made. Where was that first 5? That first 5, if they had just, the first 5 caught the ball and then just hands it.
Just hand that ball out.
They would have scored. But you can see the halfbacks skipped the first 5 straight to the second 5.
Yeah.
Which was Tusova. And Tusova, awesome try he scored, right? 1-out try from the 5 meters away, unstoppable. I don't know why they didn't do that more often. But that's what happens when you don't have a first 5 that's playing regularly. In this case, it was out of necessity because of an injury. But this is what I'm talking about, combinations. And he made that bounce pass. Don't get me wrong, it was a great bounce pass. I thought, oh, he's going to catch this. But then you put in the second 5, and I'm gonna give a shout out to Rajandra. Played out of the skin.
Can I say to you, Rajandra ran 157 meters. Right?
Right.
The workload and the critical pass that he played throughout the game. And then get a pass like that after running 157 meters. Exactly.
And that's my point. Right? I'm trying to give big ups to Rajandra. He's just run 150 whatever meters, and then he tries to catch a bouncing ball that's skidding off like off the floor. There's no, and it's sweaty, and he's trying to catch that ball, bounces off his chest, and there's no way he's going to catch that. So I feel sorry for Rajandra. Having said that, the exact same thing happened. I'd like to say the exact same thing happened in the PNC, where Rajandra was the second 5. He came in the second 5. I think it was against Tonga. He came in the second 5, and he passed the skip pass to Tusova, and Tusova dropped the ball. Now, yes, Fiji were winning, but again, it's the lack of combination. I think that if the first 5 had caught the ball, he would have made a decision whether to go hands or to skip to the other level. Even though the other level was coming in hard on a hard line, right? Tusova had done the hard work. He had drawn in the second 5 in center, and the other level was coming in on a hard line. If he had popped that to the other level,
under the post,
I think the other level would have been. And then we've got to think about the goal kicking, right? Even if Rajandra had caught the ball, scored in the corner, oh my goodness. I think Tetitala only had one conversion in out of all his kicks. So yeah, it's a sad way to end the match. However, it was an exciting way to end the match. Good on Wales for that.
Thank you, Saki.
Yep.
Your thoughts on the ref?
What do you reckon, Special K?
Since
I don't know. I've got a box of tissues here, mate.
My
I've got
hand's
a box of
coming off.
tissues here.
My hand's coming off. Right? Was it unfair?
Mate, my hat's already off.
Was it unfair? Yes. I think the referee was unfair in certain parts of those games. However, experience will dictate that you have to have an influence with the referee. And I think that's an important part of being experienced. There needs to be somebody who gets connection, relation with the referee and kind of influence the ref.
Fine.
Right? And that's part of experience. And I think Fiji will learn from this and move forward. And I think that would be better for it. That's all I can say at the moment. I'm getting heart problems at the moment. Talk, what are you saying about it?
I got some tissues here just in case. All right. So let's just. I wanted to ask you this question: why do you think the ref was unfair? You've got to outline it. Why the unfairness? At what point did you feel, Special K, that this was unfair?
Look,
was not blowing his
consistency is the word. Consistency would be the word that I would use.
Right.
Yep.
And there are certain procedures towards a penalty or a yellow card that wasn't adhered to. Right. It's just, there is no game that you get caught, that you get penalized straight away and get caught out. All right, that's my consistency is important. But I think the moment just got to him. The referee, the moment got to him. There was so much people there kind of in his mind, and I think he just wasn't experienced enough to ref that game properly.
Yeah. I agree with you there. I think let's just touch on that experience. There was an instant where the Fijian player had somewhat caused double movement, right? And that, the TMO said, stick with your on-field decision. And what does the ref do?
Review it by himself again.
And then he checks it again. He's like, oh, wait, can I just see that knee? Now, where do you think that thought process came from? Right? It came from, like you said,
Wales.
Experience. It came from, exactly, experience, Wales. Right?
Yeah.
But I do have my one, I've got to say this. So that first try that Maui so-called knocked on, he called it no arms tackle, right? And
he stopped the game.
And he stopped the game, and he said that Maui's the Welsh hand came up after. Well, that was exactly the same thing that happened with Hambosi. When he went for the tackle, guess what? His arms came up after. Right? The penalty was given there, yet no penalty was given at the try line. And this is what I think was going through his mind. And I'm coming back to this point of the occasion got to him.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If he had given a penalty there on the try line, he would have had to give a penalty try. And not only that, he would have possibly had to give a yellow card.
Yeah.
Right? So those are big calls to make just before halftime.
And that's where I think Sake.
And I think
the captains for the teams, right?
Yeah.
Which I think New Zealand does is really well. South Africa does it well too.
Yeah.
They have to have influence on the coach, on the referee, and kind of call it. Say, ref, you've done this one. Why is it this? And then in the mind of the referee, so these guys know what they're talking about, right? And I think that's a critical learning experience going forward playing in these kind of games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I just say something? I agree with you, but not fully. Why I say this?
What do you mean by that?
Oh, this is what I'm trying to say here. Game management. When you first play a game, you can pick what kind of referee you have in the game in the first 20 minutes of any game. Right? Is he focusing more on attacks or defense? And I think from there you can probably pick out like what sort of game you should be able to play in favor of the referee.
You know, I agree with you. I agree with you, Vinny, in regards to between the 22-meter line, right? But when you're 5 meters out from the try line and you're hitting the line, I think the game management is that's a totally different thing. I think it's a little bit different. Whereas if you're playing between the 22s, but when you're 5 meters from the line, a meter from the line, and you're trying to score a try, and it's a clear shoulder to the shin that the offensive player has to jump over, and then he later knocks it on. I think the ref totally totally lost that one. And I don't think he made the right decision.
Can I jump in? Do you think that the Wales team tactically, strategically played to the referee?
I think obviously they kicked more, right? And coming back to game management. But I think if Fiji would have learnt from that first half, it almost seemed like they became tunnel vision, right? Anything within the 1 meter, anything 1 meter out from the post, guess what? 1 meter out from the try line, it was pick and go, pick and go, pick and go, pick and go. They persisted with that in the second half. It was pick and go, pick and go, pick and go. When you have, this is what I just don't understand. When you have the highest meters gained, right? Okay, never mind the Romania game was Ireland, and never mind those other games, right? The blowout games. But I'm talking about like
what worked for them. What worked for them in the first half? They did not repeat for the second half.
No. Well, my point is, if you're the highest meters game, that means almost double the opposition. Guess what? If you're camped on their try line and you have the highest meters gained, did you get to that try line by doing pick and goes? You didn't get there doing pick and goes, did you? No, you got there by guess what? You're passing the ball. You're going 1 out, 2 out. And for the life of me, I could not understand why they made it easier for the Welsh team to defend them through pick and goes. I just could not, for the life of me, I was just on my couch just wondering, oh my goodness, they've just done all these 1 out, 2 out plays, right? They're gaining meters because there's only 1 tackler or 2 tacklers, right? Now they've decided to go 1 tackler on 3 tackles on 3 Welshmen coming at him. Like, I just could not believe that. I was thinking, anyway, so my point is this. All Fiji had to do, look what happened when Tusova scored that try, right? Now, yes, granted, Penny Ravai came on, the other prop scores a try, but that was way out in the, in the last 10 minutes of the game when Wales was somewhat tired, right? But I just felt that if they had just got 1 out or 2 out, had their backs coming in at, maybe 2 out from the ruck, instead of persisting with this pick and go. I just feel like they got white line fever. They got white line fever. The Folds took over. And I just felt that maybe if there was a first 5 or a back there, right? Did you see that play from Jelly Bear? When they were when they were hitting the line, and what does he do? He changes the point of attack. Of attack. I mean, there was no variety, I guess is what I'm saying, right?
So
all of a sudden you're 5 meters from the line, and what do? Pick and go, pick and go, pick and go. 1 out. Boys, we need some variety. Especially, we were making it easier for the Welsh team. That's all. That's all I'm going to say about that.
So what can Fiji do from now on to prepare against the Wallabies? What can we do to try and stop the Wallabies? After analyzing the whole game.
Sorry. Can I just raise one more point?
One more.
One more, last one, right? In regards to what we could have, in regards to the ref, right? Every single game that was played over the weekend, every single team that had the highest penalty count lost their games. Every single team that had the highest penalty count lost their games.
Except
for Wales. Wales was the only team that had the highest penalty count, almost 100%. What's the penalty count? 918, right? 100% more than the opposition, and they still won their game.
And that's where I go back. That's where I go back.
That's what
they would have targeted the referee and some of the weaknesses that they probably had said, and played that better. Right? We could get away with 9 penalties extra. Right? We just got to be smart about the penalties that we do give away.
Yeah.
And they did that well.
Look, yes, I know that maybe Fiji squandered some opportunities, but when you have 100% more penalties than the opposition, and you still win the game compared to all the other games previously that weekend, where if you had the highest penalty count, you lost that game. It wasn't even 100% for the other penalty counts. It was more like 50, 60, right, %. And they still lost their games. Yet somehow, very close competitors on the ranking, somehow, Wales still managed to win that game with the highest penalty counts, 100% more than the opposition.
Amazing.
Which to me just does not sit well with me, obviously. And I just think that there needs to be a review on the ref.
Thank you.
Not even on the ref, maybe on World Rugby, right? And like now we're coming around in circle again. Again, coming back to that point, Special K. I mean, what is experience, right? Experience refereeing, yeah, that's all I've got to say about that.
Thank you, Saki. So the games against Australia is on Monday morning for Fiji and Australia.
Right.
Is anything to add, boys, apart from what we've shared, the positive, the improvements they need to see, and the stats we've seen so far for the Fiji team that could help them do well, or possibly could beat the Wallabies?
What do you reckon, Special K?
They've got to they have to manage the referee, right? They have to build connection and relationship with the referee. You see what's in his mind, to play what the referee wants to play. That's one thing that I think that they only have to have. As I said before in the last podcast, can Fiji beat Australia? Yes. But I've seen Australia to improve somewhat in the last game that they played against Georgia. The set pieces pretty well. I think that's what they're going to do against Fiji. Fiji's got to have a good scrum, which they do have, and they've got to have a good defensive lineouts against the maul from the lineout, which I think that's what they're going to do. That's going to be the strength of Australia against Fiji. Fiji will be more playing out wide, attacking through the backs. That's my thoughts. But if they can get defensively right, connect with the referee, I think they've got a good chance to win.
Okay.
All right. So, you'd be nuts to play Fiji at their own game, right? You'd be nuts to throw the ball around and play the way that the Fijians love to play, which is meters gained rugby, passing, all that stuff. Now, it just for me, if I was Australia, I would just focus on the set piece and maul. There's three things that you need to win a test match, right? Basically, you need a strong forward pack. You need a good defensive structure. And you need a good number 10. All right? That's your base. That's your base.
Which they both lack.
That's your base. Yeah, exactly. That's your base at World Cups, right? And did you see the way that the Australians dominated that Georgian pack?
I've never seen them so dominant against Georgia in the set pieces, especially the scrum.
Yeah, I mean that's what
they're going to do. They're going to attack this. They're going to get that scrum against Fiji and build a platform from there. Yeah.
So set piece. The other thing is defense. Now, as much as I love our midfield backs, all right, we need to talk, boys. We need to talk. All right.
Saki, you have about a minute for this.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So, you remember when I said that Gatlin had something up his sleeve?
Yeah.
Guess what he had up his sleeve? He decided to attack our midfield. Right? Guess where those line breaks and those tries came from? Let's be honest, boys. Right? Inside. It came from Randrandra missing a tackle from the inside. Yeah. 2 rucks later, they scored a try at the end. Again, Randrandra misses a ball in the inside. Tompkins passes, they go into the 22. Next minute, we're getting a kick over the top. Hambosi isn't back enough. And guess what happens? He loses the ball. They score a try from there. And then you have one of the softest tries you'll ever see, right, in a tight match, where they do a simple second man running play. Right? First 5 pretends he's going to get the ball. Center coming in short.
North.
And North goes over untouched.
Untouched, yeah.
The other try was scored. It was a penalty. The other try was scored from a maul, right? Set piece, right? Now, if Fiji want to win this game against Australia, they've got to sort out that midfield defense.
Is it too late, Sake?
And
Sake, is it too late to sort out?
And look at this. Look, I'm not trying to pinpoint it, but what led up to that? What was the play that led up to that? That collapse maul? It was Nyadalevu dropping that ball, and Dan Bigger kicking the ball and creating a 50-20, getting the ball back. Yeah. Maul, 1 man down, Fiji go, right? So all I'm saying is that our second 5 and our center really need to be, defensively. Don't get me wrong; they did some magnificent plays. I think they just need to work on that defensive platform, and I think they'll be all right in the midfield. And then of course, Fiji need to improve their kicking. If they can get better percentages in their kicking, I think they're in with a shot. So that's my take on it.
Just the last one for the Fiji team.
Right.
Do you think the substitution came in too late? And do you think they should have played Tuisova first before semi? Or should have they played Tuisova at the wing to start? Personally, I think.
Well. Look at the alternative, right? Ravutai Wanda. How do you think he performed?
Not good. Missed one of the easiest tackle. I think the same missed tackle he did with England, same side. The wing ran around him and did exactly the same thing again.
So I mean, I get the fact that they have what's his name? Tuisova coming in and creating havoc. And yeah, he did score a try, beautiful. But I just wonder if I just wonder if you want to keep your best players on the field at the start. And then, I mean, look.
Would you pick Tuisova or Robert Amanda?
I think when it's big game, like big game experience, I would have gone with Tuisova. But this is in hindsight, right? I mean, we saw what Robert Amanda did against England, right? But but let's be honest, that was a dead rubber game for England, right? That was a warm-up game. Now, I'm just talking about big-time experienced players.
Especially like a game coming up against Australia.
Exactly. Big games like that. I love Robert Amanda and the way that he's got that light feet. And maybe that's the type of light feet you need when you come in at the end, right?
When they're tired.
And imagine, and even then, Tuisova could have come in to play second five, Tuisova could have come in to play second five, and Robert Amanda come out to the wing. Now Semi Radradra, where does he go? I said put him at fullback, especially if you're thinking about running the game, for the last 10 minutes of the game, right? If you're thinking, I mean, you're not kicking anymore, obviously. So all you want to do is run. So so I just think when it's big games, you need big experienced players. I mean, and then you just sub and draw Sessa from the fullback.
All right, thank you, Saki. Thank you, Special K. I think we move on to the game that has been played. Sorry. So this is the game that was played last week, the first round of the Rugby World Cup. France and New Zealand, 27-23. Do you guys have any thoughts on these games? You have Italy and Namibia. You have demolishing Ireland and Romania. Australia and Georgia was a really tough game. Surprisingly, I thought Argentina was going to pull this one off, but England did. 27-10. Argentina lost.
England's got England. What's the word? When they're against it they're in the corner, rock in a hard place, and they're coming out fighting. England. They know now they've got to win, and I think that they're going to do really well, given the confidence that they got against Argentina.
Man. And then we have Japan there and Chile. Japan did really well in that game, and this match here, South Africa and Scotland. Did you watch this game? Such a tough game, really tough game. This one.
Mate. Like I said, South Africa just dominated that game. They just snuffed Scotland out and just strangled them. They just strangled them and just made them make mistakes.
To keep them scoreless, right?
Yep.
South Africa means that they've got a great defensive team.
Yeah, right? They've got a great defensive structure, right? Yeah. They've got line speed, and they know how to implement that line speed, right? And how to compensate for it if it fails. So I think South Africa did a good job on Scotland, but
I think keep a good highlight or focus on the teams who defend so well, because I think those are that's the team that's going to make it into the finals.
Yeah, definitely.
Look at Ireland, 82. I don't think they considered a try at all.
They did, I think.
No, there was a try. First try.
Yeah.
First try.
Just one. But I mean, yeah. Look, I would just like to highlight England versus Argentina. George Ford, right?
Amazing.
He scores all their points.
Does
3 drop goals, 2 of them out in the 50-meter line. I was just thinking, this guy is like Johnny Wilkinson reincarnated.
Yeah.
Like this guy is going off. And don't you like, as a former first five, for Eastern Suburbs. I think it was like 6th division, 7th division.
How much did you pay the coach, Saki? Tell us the truth.
I think he got tired. He got tired of me talking so much that he put me in the forwards.
I think there was no ref in that game, eh, Saki?
How can a player play front row and then all of a sudden go in first five? How did you do that, Saki?
No, I was first five and then they put me to lock. I was like,
hey, maybe you were just slow, Saki, eh?
Yeah, I was pretty slow. I was like, oh yeah, thanks, coach. But
but
I tell you what George Ford did was just amazing. Don't you just love a first five that takes the game, the bull by the horns, and say, boys, follow me, right? This is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna play. This is how we're gonna win this game. We're 14 men down. Sorry.
So
we're 1 man down.
Can you see England? Can you see England now?
Minutes.
Can you see England now be final contenders? Just purely from that game.
I think they make the semi-finals. I think they make the semi-finals, but they need to work on their offense.
Okay.
I would have loved to see them score a try. That would have been a little bit more encouraging for them. But I think that's the type of game that wins you a finals footing.
All right. Thank you, Saki and Special K. Now let's go on to the games for this week. The first game is tomorrow, France and Uruguay. Before we go through any other teams in Northern Hemisphere, everyone else, let's talk about Samoa and Tonga first. Right? So on Sunday, we have Samoa versus Chile, Samoa's first game in the Rugby World Cup. What do you think about this game? No pun intended. Knowing Chile, they'll come out hot in this game. What do you think? What do you think, Special K? Chile will be coming hot. Man, I memorized that one. Man, I thought about that one for a very long time.
How long did you think about that one?
Oh, man, since lunchtime today at work.
Yeah. Look, I love Chile. And I think Chile, in the next, maybe how many World Cups, will get to the stage where Samoa, maybe now, but Samoa for sure will win that game.
Samoa. Saki?
Yeah, I'm going to Samoa on that one.
How about Ireland and Tonga? Do you think they can come out on? Do you think they can cause an upset, Tonga, on their first game? Seeing what Samoa can do when they played Ireland in the warm-up match, do you think they can come close? Knowing Tonga, as I said last week in our last podcast, the first podcast, they have a very good set of experience pack.
Yeah.
And I know Specific said something about big names playing with small names. But when you talk about experience, I think Saki, as you said, it plays a big role when you have experience in the game.
Look, Tonga will do well. But Ireland, purely from the defensive point of view, will just dominate Tonga. I think that's the key to Ireland and how they're going to make it. And I'm going to call it out now, Saki. Ireland is going to be in the finals.
That's a big call.
That's a big call to make. So early out.
So for that one there, Bozo, Ovini, is that Ireland will win.
We'll hold you to that one. The other big match we're going to talk about is England and Japan, and also Fiji and Australia, which we have already. I think we want to go into that in detail. Yeah. But let's talk about France and Uruguay. We know, obviously, France is going to win this one, unless if Uruguay can come up with some miracle, hopefully. Then we have New Zealand and Namibia. How about Wales and Portugal? There's something there. What we're trying to look for here is hopefully a team can win over Wales. Oh, that's what I'm hoping here. Do you think Namibia or Georgia? Do you think Georgia can beat Wales if a chance was for Fiji to go through?
I didn't see. What would you say? I didn't see enough of Georgia to cause any upset.
Yeah, I think Wales wins that one.
Yeah.
I think Wales wins that one. I think Ireland win their one, obviously. I think
South
Africa win their one. I think the only game really that would be the one to watch is Australia Fiji. I think that's the one. That is the one. England Japan. I think England win that one.
Rooney, the coach for Fiji, this will really test how good he is. Really, how he can bounce back from this situation to how he can improve the Fijian team. Has he got enough experience and expertise to do that? We'll find out. We know Eddie Jones could be, but he's not a mug, Eddie Jones. Eddie Jones has been around 3 World Cups, and he'll know what to do to beat Fiji. In saying that, he said that Australia, if Fiji get the pathways right, which they have got right, they'll be so competitive, which where they are now.
So who are you picking? Game. Who are you picking, Special K? Fiji and Australia.
I'm going for Fiji.
Thank you. Saki?
Saki, don't.
Saki, there's nothing to think about here.
Think with your heart. Saki. That's where you come
Australia?
from.
Fiji or Australia?
Look. Australia have
done from Fiji.
Australia, for some reason, when they go into World Cups, they just turn the switch on. For some reason, right? I mean, look at all the previous World Cups. They've always made in the quarters, semis, thereabouts, finals. So, having said that, I'm going to go with Fiji on this one. And the reason,
yeah.
And the reason why is because I think Fiji, if Rawalui learns from his mistakes, if they just shore up their midfield defense, and if they get a kicking game going, and then I think that they can run the Aussies off their feet. I think it'll be an exciting game. But I think that if Fiji get the kicking right, and they can shore up their midfield, because guess what? Their forward pack was right on par with the Welsh.
Yeah.
Okay. Their forward pack can only do, and from what I'm hearing, there's not that many. There's no serious injuries to that forward pack. So I think they can just get better. And guess what? Fiji, that forward pack, they used to play the Aussies, right? They've played them in the NRC. They played it in the Super Rugby, right?
Yeah.
They've played them, in Fiji. So I think, whereas when you're coming up against Wales, it's a bit of an unknown because you only played them once. Whereas if you're coming against the Aussies, you know these players, right?
Yeah.
You know how they operate. So I think Fiji has a really good chance of beating Australia. It's a desperation. It's a desperation game. I think they can do it. Can do it.
Actually, for myself, last week, as you probably remembered, I was wearing my Wallabies jersey last week.
Traitor.
But for some reason this week, I've decided to wear my Fiji jersey this week. Because when I heard the call that Michael Hooper was getting picked, I thought, I wasn't going to go up there and wear his jersey. But unfortunately, my jersey the orders came in really late. So I can't make it to the World Cup. But for me, I'm going with Fiji on this one. Why I say Fiji?
Can you do me a favor? Can you wear the right size? You're extra large. You're wearing extra small.
What are you talking? No, my wife washed my jersey in the warm water in the washing machine, so it shrunk a little bit. But why I say that?
We can see a chest popping out, mate.
Yeah, it's I can't help it. But the thing is, Fiji's got nothing to lose in this game. If they lose this match, they're going out.
They've got everything to lose. Let me take you back there. You've got everything to lose, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, if they lose this match, they're out. And the boys have another chance to redeem themselves.
Not only that, they have to win the match with a bonus point.
Oh, fair dinkum. I think they will.
Do you know what I mean? They have to win this game with a bonus point. Because what what if Australia go on to beat Wales? All right? Yeah. And now nobody likes to be the third wheel, right? So
yep. So Spencer K, what's your points? Australia and Fiji points?
Ooh.
What's the score? What's the score?
Heart.
Yeah, points.
My heart. If I dissect my heart now,
no. We don't want to see your heart. We want the points.
Yeah.
So you said Fiji's gonna win?
Yes.
Yeah, what's the points?
There's no points, brother. It's my heart.
No, score. What's the score?
The score.
Yeah.
Fair hiccup. That's the problem when you play with Sydney Uni, man. They don't keep scoreboards over there.
I'm not going to say about the score. When I say to you, I'm just going for Fiji. All right?
Next time we'll get someone else who can come up with better ideas.
No, sorry. No.
I pay for the Zoom, eh?
Hey, Special K. I think it's the audio system. Our production needs to, get better at that. I wonder if our budget's being strong at the moment.
In saying that, I think we need to let the viewers know, if you like our videos and share them, hopefully we'll come up with better videos and proper technology in our next show.
Tell our viewers just to give us money. Is that okay with you? Don't worry about subscribing, nothing else. Give them your bank account.
Man. I think it'll be a very tight match. Is there any way we can put him on mute? Spencer K? I think his time is up.
I paid for the Zoom.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I'm going Fiji. Maybe I'm going Fiji 27-22.
Wow.
Ooh. Nah, I think this is going to be I'm going to go in the 30s, mate. I'm going to go 30s. Look, Fiji have nothing to lose. And I mean, they do. Sorry.
I can't say in the 30s.
Sorry. I think Fiji's going to have to throw the ball around, because again, it's the temperature. We've got to think about the handling here, and I think if Fiji want to blow this game wide open at some point in the game, because I think
early in the
correct
game,
me if I'm wrong, I think that the tactical kicking might just be a little bit better from the Aussies. And if that is the case, then what we're looking at is another...
that game against Georgia. They had his fullback who just kicked the ball all day. That's what they got him in there.
Yeah.
His name was Donaldson or something like that.
Yeah.
New South Wales rejected him, and he's picked him to come across. Right?
Yeah.
And he knew, this is what we talk about, his expertise of Eddie Jones.
Yeah.
All I want you to do is kick.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Exactly. And did you see those up and unders from their first five to Nawangani Tawasi, as the Aussies would say?
It's the ball in the air. Israel Folau was the last one to do that, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
This guy here is probably better.
Yeah. Exactly. So
and he's Tongan.
Oh, is he Tongan?
No, he's Fijian, bro. He's Fijian.
But he looks Tongan, right? Hey,
we gallop like a horse is a horse, eh?
Bro.
Hey, so as long as at some point Fiji have to pull the trigger, Fiji have to pull the trigger and just go all out attack, and improve from their handling. All right, defense up, midfield, and improve from their handling. The forwards have got this the set piece, and I think Fiji will ride it home, mate. Fiji will ride it home. Let's go, Fiji.
Let's go.
Tosso, Viti, Tosso.
All right.
Tosso.
So we come up to the end of our episode. Do you have any of the few words you want to share before we close our podcast for today?
Please come back. All our viewers out there. Thank you.
And they will come back, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, I promise. I promise. I'll be a lot healthier next week. I promise. I'll be a lot healthier.
Right.
But thank you for listening. We wish Thomas, Samoa, and Fiji all the best in the upcoming games. Now, again, don't listen to Special K. If you do enjoy a Talanoa session, please like and share our video. We're just beginning, and we'll catch up with all the technology and pretty videos and photos soon. But we felt we needed to get this out today. We will be recapping the week's games every Friday, so next week's episode will definitely be a good one. So you don't want to miss.
What happens if they miss it?
Right? You don't want to see me crying. That's the point. Don't make me cry on the TV.
Okay.
Hey, I just don't want any of you to miss it.
No miss. But for us all here at ContikiRugby, Malo, Faso Ifron, and Nisa Mode.
Mode manda.
Mode.
Tosse